In color, the continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington, Patricia Morrow as Rita Harrington, James Douglas as Stephen Cord.
Betty Anderson, occupation, housewife. But today, she is actively employed. While Constance Mackenzie's husband is in New York, Betty has been staying with her, taking care of her bookshop. For Constance is soon to have a baby. Betty's husband, Stephen Cord, occupation, counselor at law. Now defending a man named Lee Weber on a charge of murder. A heavy world. But this morning in Peyton Place, Betty Anderson attempts to lighten it.
Oh, good morning, Mrs. Cord.
Is that for him?
Yes.
Let me take it in.
Thank you, Miss Norm.
You're welcome.
You have a cold this morning, Miss Norm.
How could you tell? So that's what you do in your office, huh?
Only in the mornings. Hello, darling.
Hello. Oh, well, that answers my first question.
What was that?
You miss me?
Very much. How about a cup of coffee with me?
I have to open the bookstore.
Isn't Connie there?
I gave her the morning off. She was a little tired. No baby yet, though.
No word on Allison either, I guess, huh?
No. Elliot will be calling from New York tonight, though. Did you eat the rest of the roast I left for you?
Mm-hmm. But I didn't have any dessert. Yes?
Mr. Chris Weber here to see you.
I'll be with him in a moment. Pick you up for lunch?
Uh-huh.
No, if you don't mind, I would rather not wait.
Stephen! Right here. Now, just hold it a minute. I'll see you at lunch. Now, where did you learn your manners?
Where is your desk? I've forgotten.
On the right.
And you'd better come over here and sit down behind it so we can talk.
All right, let's get on with it.
If you think I'm rude, Counselor, then credit yourself with teaching me. I learned it from you, remember, at the wharf. Lesson number 1, jump your victim when he's not expecting you.
What do you want from me, Chris?
The magic words. I want the magic words that my brother used to get you to handle his case. I saw him in jail. He went on and on, but I kept hearing a little voice saying, he's lying. He is lying. Now I want to know what he said to you to make you think he is not lying.
What makes you think he is?
I am asking the questions, Counselor. You're on the stand now. Tell me something. Do you have any idea what Lee Weber is really like?
I don't care about his personality. I want to know what he said to bring this on.
Not one word, nothing he could possibly do or say could change what I know about him one bit.
You had an argument with your brother, didn't you?
Don't handle me, Counselor. You know you don't argue with a Neanderthal.
All right, then don't you try to handle me. I see right through your little game.
I am not playing a game.
It's a game called Shake Up Stephen Cord, get him to doubt his client's innocence. Why, Chris? Because you're at war with your brother and you want me for the hangman? Well, I'm not playing your game. If you hate your brother, you work it out in your own way.
You are gonna listen to me, Stephen.
Then say it!
Why did you take my brother's case?
Because he's entitled to a counsel. A counselor that believes he has a good chance of being innocent.
You believe that?
Yes, I do.
Then let me hear you say it.
I believe Lee has a good chance of being innocent.
Are you aware of what you're doing? Do you realize what you've taken on?
Yes.
And do you know for sure that Lee wasn't near Ann when she was killed?
You were in the area. Are you trying to tell me he was?
I'm trying to get you to think, counselor. When Lee's back's against the wall, his mind works like a computer. It's programmed to make you or anyone else believe anything he wants you to believe. Tell me something. Do you believe that Ann Howard pushed me off that bluff when we were kids?
No.
Why not?
Because Lee told me he did it, and he had the most to lose.
And that's why you believe it.
That's right.
Well, 17 years ago, counselor, he told you exactly the opposite, and you believed that too, didn't you? You were there, you saw it happen, but you still believed him, didn't you? You believed him then because you wanted to believe him, and now you want to believe he's innocent. Why, Mr. Cord, why? Speak up, counselor, I can't hear you.
I was counting on you as a witness for your brother.
Forget it. I play piano, not violin.
Nevertheless, I was counting on you.
Well, don't.
I want you there in court.
I'll be there, Mr. Cord. I intend to be there.
Have you been subpoenaed by Fowler?
I didn't have to be.
Does that mean you're going to be a witness for the prosecution?
Well, that's something to think about, isn't it?
Now, what madness is this? Why, Anna?
I know what I'm doing. I can't afford for any of this to get into the hands of strangers.
Brian Cord's papers and personal effects would have no value to strangers, Hannah. What are you talking about? You know you're behaving irrationally. You can't burn Brian Cord, Hannah. He's dead.
I want nothing left of him.
Would you have Stephen's memory of his father burned too? Hannah, Stephen threw that trunk at our feet. Can you conceive of the hatred he feels for us? Do you think you can destroy it?
I've waited a lifetime to destroy every evidence that Brian Cord ever lived, and now it's done.
You think you can reduce the past to smoke and ashes?
The past is buried, burned, and now Stephen can forget.
There'll be questions, Hannah. When Lee Weber comes up for trial, you'll be questioned about the past. Nothing you do can prevent it. Nothing. Hannah! Nothing.
You want me to be hurt, Martin? Why? After all of these years, why?
Because you're part of something I'm ashamed of. Bitterly ashamed.
Well, that's not it. It's you, Martin. It's your nature. It's what you are. You're cruel, Martin. You like to see pain. But I promise you this, Martin. If I'm hurt, you'll feel the pain.
I thought you were out of the habit of sitting and brooding. Have you had lunch? Now, I know you didn't have any breakfast except for a cup of coffee. Why don't I make you something?
I could have been Lee sitting here waiting for you, Sandy.
Hey, a guy came in at the cider barrel today with a fish as long as his arm. So why don't we rent a boat and go drown some worms on Sunday?
You think it's like a bad dream or a headache? You think what happened will go away if we don't talk about it? You think Lee will disappear if we pretend he doesn't exist?
I'm gonna go make some coffee. You want some?
Answer me, Sandy.
Chris, I've had a bad day. I dropped a pot of coffee. I gave a woman too much change for a $5 bill. So can't we just please talk about something nice?
Why haven't you been to visit Lee since he's been in jail?
I'm going to.
When?
I don't know, soon.
Today?
No, I thought...
Tomorrow?
Look, will you stop bugging me about it?
Lee's gonna get ideas about you, Sandy.
You don't know what you're talking about.
He's gonna think you're against him.
I'm his wife.
Then why aren't you by his side? Why aren't you spending all your free time with him? That's what some wives do when their husbands are in jail.
Look, I told you I was going to.
Other wives get divorced when their husbands go to jail.
I wouldn't do a thing like that.
Why? Because you think maybe he won't get convicted? Because you think maybe he'll get out of it and come looking for you?
Well, how come you're telling me to divorce your own brother?
I was just saying what some wives do. What are you gonna do, Sandy?
I am not going to do anything.
Do you think Lee murdered Ann Howard? Do you think he should be punished for what he's done? Are you gonna help him get away with murder? Or are you gonna do everything you can to see that he's made to pay for what he's done?
There is nothing I can do. Lee's in jail. He's going to be tried, and it's not up to me what happens to him.
You could go talk to Stephen Cord.
Now, why would I want to talk to him?
You could tell him Lee's guilty and try and convince him to stop defending him.
Chris, I can't do that.
Why? Because you're afraid? Lee can't be allowed to get away with this. He's got to be punished. You know that, and I know that, so don't give me any of that I'm his wife junk. You're gonna have to take a stand on this, Sandy, one way or the other, whether you like it or not. If you just sit by and do nothing, you'll be helping Lee, and you know it. Now, where do you stand?
I don't know. I don't know, and please don't make me do anything.
Hello.
Hi, Rod.
All right.
You look kind of busy.
Yeah, I am kind of busy. A couple of more hours left on this engine.
So we'll stay around and watch.
I'm serious.
So are we.
You know, I let myself get a little behind here.
Sure.
Rod, we want to talk to you. Rod?
Rita, you know, this is a one-man operation now. I've gotten behind on the orders. I'm trying to catch up.
You're trying to make work.
Rita,
It's the truth. He's trying to make work. He's just trying to keep busy.
hold it.
You know, you're just like Dr. Rossi.
What's that supposed to mean?
He's working day and night in that hospital trying to forget all about Ann Howard. And you're here, changing the battery, fixing the tires, adjusting the spark plugs, or whatever you do to spark plugs.
No lectures. Please, no lectures. You know she's right, Rod. Listen, what did you two come here for, anyway?
Well, we know you've been knocking yourself out. We want you to stop it, that's all.
What would you like me to do? Drop everything and lock the place up?
Yeah, something like that.
And then what, go out and have a ball? I can't stop thinking about Allison. She was somebody to take care of. She had such a helpless way about her. She used to look at me as though she wanted me to take her by the hand and tell her what to do. You know, I didn't know how much I needed her until after she was gone. The world is full of sophisticated, attractive girls. Girls who can talk about any subject anytime. They can speak French. They can talk about the opera. They can cook a gourmet meal. They can hold a family together. But they don't need me. Allison needed me.
Rod? Rod, we need you.
Thanks. You know, I figure it this way. It's the amnesia. You know, like after the accident. When things pile up on Allison, she forgets. But it'll all come back to her, and then you'll have a second chance. Did you ever look at it that way?
Yeah, I've looked at it that way.
You should believe it.
Do you believe it?
I do, Rod. I believe she'll be back. In fact, I know it.
You know, you've got yourself quite a girl here. You better hold on to her.
Well, I'd like to. But you better let go first.